Thank you, Senator Shelby. Senator Harris.
Secretary Chao, thank you for being here. I have a few questions that relate to California specifically. I know you're familiar with the transportation challenges that California faces and the actions we are taking to address those challenges. The Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee met yesterday and heard about how Californians are investing in substantial amounts of their own money in the state's transportation future. And we need federal support to continue. The mayor of Los Angeles was here yesterday. So I want to ask you about the department's involvement in a few of those projects. One is our state, a real high priority for the state is the Caltrain Peninsula Corridor Electrification Project. This is widely supported. It has already raised $1.3 billion in matching funds. It was highly rated by your department and is ready to start construction immediately. In fiscal year 2017, the spending bill that the President just signed into law, Congress passed $100 million for this project. The law, however, requires that the Department of Transportation enter into a full funding grant agreement for projects to receive the funding. Now, all that is needed for construction to start and for 10,000 jobs that will be part of this project to actually be hired into and filled is for the department to execute the FFGA, as it's known. As you know, the contract to begin construction expires on June 30th, so in a very short period of time. Senator Feinstein and I sent you a letter last week urging that we execute this agreement so the project can begin. The project could be in jeopardy if the full funding grant agreement is not executed very soon. Can you give me a status on that?
We have been very much focused on Caltrain, so please let me assure you that this is a subject that we pay a great deal of attention to. I've met with the mayor when he was here yesterday. I've met also with Governor Brown. I've spoken with Senator Feinstein and also Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. 50% of the new starts in the budget, if I'm not mistaken, goes to California.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money going to California. There are a number of projects there. The fiscal year 2017 budget is finally, the omnibus gave about $100 million. That has helped. Going into fiscal year 2018, we will hear the rest of it. It's another 118. But California, and in particular Caltrains, is not the only project that's waiting for this money. So I'm about $107 million short. So the $100 million in fiscal year 27, that can go out because I've just been given the money by the omnibus bill.
For 2017.
Right. It's $100 million. And then in 2018, fiscal year 2018, it's $118 million.
So,
but the funding required is $225, so I'm about $105 million short.
So
but the money from 2017 will go out.
Okay. So then, how do you recommend we address the deadline that we have of June 30th in terms of we have a requirement that we get the full funding agreement by that date in order for the work to begin and the jobs to be filled?
It's a tough problem. I understand the deadline, but there's no funding, and so that's the problem.
Okay. How do you suggest we resolve the problem?
I wish I knew. We've been in discussion with your office, I believe, and Senator Feinstein's, the House Minority Leader's office. We've been talking with Governor. I've met with Governor Brown, so it is an issue I think the California delegation needs to come together and discuss, because there appears to be split opinions on this project as well.
So are you saying that the Department of Transportation cannot issue the FFGA?
So far, it has not been issued, and I cannot issue it if the funding is not there.
So you cannot issue it if the funding's not there.
That is my understanding. We can't commit to the out-year funding. So, but I don't view it as your problem, my problem. How do we work on it together? And it is a big problem. We don't have the funding for it.
So I would urge your department under your leadership to help us resolve this before June 30th, because, again, we're talking about thousands of jobs.
I understand.
and infrastructure concerns that California has around transportation. And then I'd also like to ask you about the West Side Purple Line Extension Project in Los Angeles. Perhaps you talked with the mayor about that. They've requested funding in this year's report and are seeking to enter an engineering phase later this summer. Can you commit that this year's project will follow the FAST Act's expectations and rate projects and recommended projects for funding? Are you
I
familiar
don't know
with
that yet. I'm very familiar with
Okay.
it because the mayor and I talked about it. He needs $1.3 billion in Purple Line funding, and I understand the significance of it because it's tied into the project that
Yep.
he's working on. But I said to him that I would look at it, but that's for out years. That's not 2017. So,
Right, that's correct. Okay, and is there any work that we can do through this committee to follow up with you on that?
I'm always willing and eager to work with you and your office, and I will continue to do so, and I will let the mayor know as to, what the prospect is.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Senator Capito.